Every woman has a language she never speaks out loud. It lives in the way she moves, the parts of herself she reveals, and the moment she lets her guard fall, but only around you. And if a woman shows you a specific part of her body, one she protects from everyone else, she wants you inside her deepest walls, inside her trust, inside the version of herself she doesn't show the world. That's not a guess. That's biology. That's millions of years of instinct saying one thing. You. Today, I'm revealing 9 signals most men will never recognize. You're not most men. Think about the last time you were near a woman and something shifted. You couldn't name it. The air between you changed. She moved differently. Something deep in your chest responded before your brain could form a single thought. That wasn't imagination. That was biology. Women don't always use words for the things that matter most. Sometimes the feeling is too raw, too vulnerable, too early for language. So the body speaks first. It always has. When a woman reveals a part of herself, she instinctively guards from the rest of the world. That's not casual. That's her body making a decision about you. A decision her words haven't caught up to yet. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 9 of these moments. 9 silent signals where her body tells you the truth before her lips ever could. And one in particular, signal 7, is so deeply wired into human biology that when you finally recognize it, every interaction you've ever had with a woman will suddenly make sense. But here's what almost every man gets completely wrong about attraction, and it's the reason most of them never see what's right in front of them. Signal 1, the neck reveal. Most men think attraction starts with what she says. It doesn't. It starts with what she shows. You're talking to her. Maybe it's a quiet evening. Maybe it's a random Tuesday afternoon. Mid-sentence without a single thought behind it. She reaches up and sweeps her hair to one side. Her neck is bare. Her eyes stay on yours, and something in the air between you shifts. You feel it in your chest before you can name it. That moment is not random. The neck is one of the most vulnerable, unprotected parts of the human body. Every survival instinct we carry tells us to guard it. So when a woman unconsciously bares her neck in your presence, her body is overriding its own defense system. That's not politeness. That's not habit. That's her nervous system making a decision. This man is safe. This man I want closer. You felt the weight of that moment before. You just never had the words for it. When she bares her neck to you, she's not being casual. She's giving you access to the most guarded part of herself and silently hoping you understand what that means. And if that one landed, stay with me, because the signals only get more revealing from here. The neck is home to the carotid artery, one of the most critical pathways in the human body. It's where your pulse is most visible, where the body's most vital functions are on display. Exposing it to someone is an act of profound trust that goes far beyond conscious thought. When she tilts her head, when she sweeps her hair aside, when she holds that position just a beat longer than necessary, she's not adjusting her appearance. She's offering you a glimpse of her most vulnerable self. And she's watching to see if you'll treat that offering with the care it deserves. Most men don't. They don't notice. They don't see the significance. They don't understand the weight of what's being placed in front of them. But you're not most men. You're here because you want to understand the language that's being spoken right in front of you. Signal 2, the wrist flash. Most people think attraction is obvious. It's not. Sometimes it's as quiet as the turn of a wrist. And this signal, most men have seen it 1,000 times without ever knowing what they were looking at. She's telling you something, a story, a thought, maybe something that made her laugh. Her hands are open, moving, alive, and then you notice it. Her inner wrists are facing you, palms up, pulse visible. She's not thinking about it. She has no idea she's doing it, but her body is doing something deeply intimate right in front of you. The inner wrist is thin-skinned, pulse visible. It's where her blood runs closest to the surface. In body language psychology, exposing the inner wrist is one of the purest unconscious signals of openness and trust a person can give. She's showing you something raw without saying a single word. Something she doesn't show just anyone. Something most people never even think to look for. Next time you're with a woman, notice it. Open palms, exposed wrists. Then compare how that feels to someone sitting across from you with crossed arms and closed fists. The difference will hit you like a wall. The wrist is where vulnerability lives, just beneath the skin, and she's letting you, only you, see it. This is not a casual gesture. The wrist is one of the most sensitive areas of the body, packed with nerve endings that respond to the subtlest touch. When she exposes it to you, she's not just being open. She's inviting you to see her in a way that feels almost dangerous to her. She's trusting you with something that could easily be turned against her. And that trust is not given lightly. It's earned through your presence, your energy, your ability to make her feel safe without even trying. When you notice this signal and you acknowledge it, not with words but with your attention, you're telling her that you see her in a way that most people never do, and that is profoundly attractive. Signal 3, the collarbone trace. The first two signals are whispers, quiet, almost invisible unless you know what to listen for. But this next one, this is where she stops whispering and starts guiding. She's leading your eyes exactly where she wants them, and she's doing it on purpose, even if she doesn't realize it. You're deep in conversation. The world around you has gone soft. Nothing else exists but the space between you and her her fingers drift slowly, almost absent-mindedly along the line of her collarbone. She traces it. Maybe she adjusts a necklace that didn't need adjusting. Maybe her fingertips come to rest in the hollow of her throat. She's not fidgeting. She's not nervous. The collarbone sits at the exact border between what's public and what's private. It's a threshold. And when she draws your attention there, she's testing consciously or not whether you'll notice her standing at that line. This isn't a signal of comfort. This is a signal of invitation, a slow, quiet dare to look a little deeper than the surface. She's drawing a map with her fingertips, and that map leads somewhere only you're meant to follow. When her fingers trace her collarbone, she's not adjusting jewelry. She's opening a door and watching your eyes to see if you walk through. The collarbone is a threshold point, a boundary between the public self and the private self. It's where clothing meets skin, where the outside world gives way to something more intimate. When she draws your attention there, she's inviting you to cross that boundary with her. She's letting you know that she's ready for you to see more, to know more, to be closer. And she's waiting to see if you're brave enough to accept that invitation. Most men never even notice the door opening. They're too caught up in their own thoughts, their own nerves, their own agendas. But you're here because you want to see what's really happening. And when you do, everything changes. Signal 4, the shoulder drop. Now, pay attention because something shifts here. The first 3 signals were about openness, about trust quietly forming between two people. But starting with this one, we cross into something different, something heavier. These signals are about invitation. And there's a real difference between a woman who trusts you and a woman who's inviting you closer. You're sitting next to her. The conversation has quieted into something more personal, more honest. The noise around you doesn't matter anymore. And then, without announcement, without explanation, she slides her jacket off one shoulder. Not quickly, slowly, like she wants you to notice, like the act itself is part of what she's telling you. Removing a layer around someone is one of the oldest trust signals in human behavior. It's symbolic disarming. She's literally taking off her armor in your presence. And the slowness matters more than you think. Psychology shows that gradual reveal triggers a far deeper emotional response than anything sudden, because desire doesn't live in the reveal itself. It lives in the anticipation in the space between what's hidden and what's shown. What she's removing isn't fabric. It's the distance between who she is with everyone else and who she wants to be with you. When she drops her guard one shoulder at a time, she's not getting comfortable. She's getting closer. And she needs you to feel the difference. This is the moment where she's telling you that she's ready to let you in. She's signaling that the walls she's built are coming down, and she wants you to see that. She wants you to understand that this is not something she does with everyone. This is something she does with you. And when you see it, when you truly understand the weight of what she's offering, you have a choice. You can ignore it and miss the opportunity. Or you can meet her where she is and show her that you understand. Now, everything you've heard so far, that was the foundation. But signal 5 is where most men make a serious mistake. They either miss it completely or they misread it entirely. Signal 5, the inner knee turned. This one hides in plain sight. It's so subtle that 99% of men will never catch it. They'll miss it every single time. But once you see it, Once you truly understand what it means, you'll notice it in every room you walk into for the rest of your life. You're in a group of maybe 5 people. Everyone is talking, laughing, fully engaged in the conversation, but something makes you glance down, and there it is. Her knees are pointed at you. Not toward the group, not toward the door, not toward anyone else in the room, directly at you. Body orientation research is unambiguous on this. We unconsciously aim our most sensitive, intimate zones toward the person we're most drawn to. It's not a choice she's making. It's deeper than choice. She may be smiling at everyone, laughing with the whole group, making eye contact with the person across from her, but her body already made a decision her mind hasn't announced yet. And her knees are quietly telling you what her words won't. Her mouth is part of the group conversation, but her body is part of yours. When her body turns towards you in a room full of options, that's not an accident. That's not coincidence. That's a decision her instincts made before her conscious mind could overrule it. And once you see it, you'll never unsee it again. The orientation of the knees is one of the most honest signals in human communication because we rarely think about it. We control our facial expressions, our tone of voice, even our posture to some extent. But our knees, they tell the truth. They point toward what we want. They turn away from what we don't. When her knees are aimed at you, she's telling you that her attention is on you, even when she's pretending to listen to someone else. She's telling you that you're the one she's really focused on. And that's a signal that no amount of conversation can fake. Signal 6, the lower back arch. Now, most dating advice will tell you that attraction starts in the eyes. And at the beginning, sure, that's true. Eye contact opens the door. But deeper attraction, the kind that moves past curiosity into something genuine, something undeniable, something that pulls you forward without permission, that doesn't show up in her eyes first. It shows up somewhere else entirely. And this signal is the proof. She reaches for something on a high shelf, or she stretches after sitting for a while. And for a brief, unhurried moment, you see it. The natural curve of her lower back accentuated, effortless, unhidden, like her body is speaking a language that existed long before words were ever invented. A language your body already recognizes, even if your mind has never been taught it. Across every culture ever studied, the lumbar curve is one of the most universally recognized signals of feminine beauty and attraction. This isn't cultural conditioning. This isn't something society taught you to notice. This is biology, pure and ancient. Millions of years of evolution encoded this signal into us. And when she lets you see it, whether she's conscious of the moment or not, it's one of the deepest biological invitations the human body knows how to send. That curve is not a coincidence. It's a conversation your DNA already knows how to have. When her back arches near you, that's not a stretch. That's not restlessness. That's millions of years of biology whispering one single word. The lumbar curve has been studied extensively in evolutionary biology. It's directly linked to fertility and health, and it's one of the primary markers that men subconsciously look for when evaluating attraction. When a woman presents this curve to you, even unconsciously, she's signaling her health, her vitality, and her openness to connection. It's a signal that's been refined over millennia to communicate something that words could never capture. And when you see it, when you recognize it for what it is, you're tapping into a conversation that's been happening between men and women since the beginning of time. Signal 7, the hip shift. At the beginning of this video, I told you there was one signal that changes everything. One signal so primal, so deeply encoded into what it means to be human, that once you see it, you can never unsee it. This is that signal, and I need you to really hear what I'm about to say. She's standing in a doorway or leaning against a counter, and she shifts her weight onto one hip. Her hand rests there, easy, natural, like she's done it 1,000 times before. But then she looks back at you over her shoulder, and in that single quiet moment, something ancient stirs inside you. Something that has nothing to do with thought, nothing to do with logic. You don't think, you don't analyze, you don't decide to feel it, you just feel it. Deep, instant, undeniable. The hip-to-waist ratio is the single most studied marker of female attractiveness in all of evolutionary psychology. It transcends era. It transcends geography and language and every rule society has ever written. When she draws attention to this part of herself near you, whether she knows she's doing it or not, is the deepest primal signal her body knows how to send. This isn't learned behavior. This isn't something she picked up from a magazine or a movie. This is encoded, written into the very foundation of human attraction, and it's meant for you. Every man has felt this pull, that gravity, that wordless, full body knowing that something just shifted between you and her. You felt it, but you couldn't explain it. Now you understand what was actually happening. Now you have the word for what your body always knew. When her hips speak, you don't need a translation. Every cell in your body already knows the language. The hip shift is the ultimate signal of invitation. It's the body saying, I am ready. I am open. I am choosing you. It's a signal that's been refined over millions of years to communicate something that words could never capture. And when you see it, when you recognize it for what it is, you're being given a gift. You're being shown that she trusts you, that she wants you, that she's ready for whatever comes next. And the only question left is whether you're brave enough to accept that gift. If you thought that was the peak, we're not finished, because these last two signals, they're what happens when the silence between you becomes louder than anything she could ever say out loud. Signal 8, the lip moment. We're in territory now that most men never reach. Not because it's hidden, not because it's complicated, but because it happens so fast, so quietly, so briefly that if you blink, you'll miss the most honest thing she'll ever show you. You're mid-conversation. The words are flowing, and then everything pauses for half a breath. Her eyes drop from yours. They fall to your mouth just for a moment, and then softly, briefly, she bites her lower lip. Just barely, so subtle you'd miss it if you weren't paying attention. She looks away with the faintest shadow of a smile. Not embarrassment, not nervousness. That was her mind running ahead of the moment, racing past the conversation, imagining what hasn't happened yet. During heightened attraction, blood flow naturally increases to the lips. Touching them is a self-soothing response to a feeling the brain can barely contain. Neuroscience confirms that lip-focused gestures activate the same regions of the brain tied to the anticipation of physical closeness. She's not choosing to do this. Her body is responding to something it feels but can't say, rehearsing something her words haven't given permission for yet. She's not nervous. She's imagining. When her lips move like that, she's not searching for what to say next. She's not thinking about the conversation at all. She's feeling what happens after the words stop. This is one of the most honest signals because it's almost impossible to fake. You can control your posture. You can control your expression. You can even control your voice. But the lip moment, that's pure instinct. It's her body telling you what her mind is still processing. And when you see it, when you understand what it means, you're being given a glimpse into her most private thoughts. She's imagining you. She's imagining what it would feel like to be closer to you. And that's not something she would ever say out loud. But her body is telling you everything. Signal 9, the full proximity surrender. Every signal I've shared with you so far has been a fragment, a piece of a sentence her body has been writing since the moment she met you. But this last one, this isn't a piece. This isn't a whisper or a hint or a subtle test. This is the whole truth, and only the man she's chosen will ever feel it. A crowded room. She could stand anywhere, sit anywhere. There are a dozen open spaces, a dozen other people, a dozen easier choices. But she's next to you. Close. Closer than the space requires, closer than politeness demands. You feel her warmth before her skin ever touches yours, and then her shoulder brushes against you. And she doesn't pull away. She doesn't adjust. She doesn't create distance. She leans in slowly, quietly, like the space between you was the last thing standing in her way. And in that moment, you realize something that changes everything. Every wall she ever built around herself is gone. She took them down. This is the final vulnerability display. Every signal before this was a single word. This is the complete sentence. When a woman removes all physical distance between herself and you, voluntarily, consistently, silently, her subconscious has finished deliberating. The internal is over. Her body has said everything it knows how to say. The only question left is whether you truly heard it. This isn't closeness for comfort. This is closeness as a confession. When she presses her world against yours and doesn't pull away, she's not standing next to you. She's choosing you silently, completely, with everything she has, and hoping with every part of her she just let you see that you choose her back now. And I need you to sit with this for a moment. None of these signals should ever be read alone. One signal might mean comfort, one might mean habit, one might mean nothing at all. But when 3, 4, 5 of them appear together consistently from the same woman, that's not coincidence. That's not your imagination playing tricks on you. That's a conversation, a real one. One she's been having with you in a language she trusted you to understand. And understanding that conversation comes with something most men never consider. She's not performing for you. She's revealing herself to you. And those are two completely different things. The man who understands that difference, who truly grasps what it costs a woman to be that vulnerable, to lower every wall she spent her whole life building, that's the man she actually wants. Not the loudest one, not the most aggressive one, not the one with the sharpest lines, the one who sees her. I told you at the start of this video, you're not most men. Most men will watch this and think about what they can get. But you're here because you want to understand, and that right there is exactly the quality she's been searching for. This was never about reading her body. It was about reading her trust. And when a man can do that, when he can hold that kind of truth with care, with awareness, with respect, everything between them changes. Attraction was never about the perfect line at the perfect time. It was never about the right move or the right words. It was always about the silent language underneath everything. Her eyes, her posture, her proximity, the way her body shifted the moment you entered the room. It's been telling you the truth this entire time. You just needed someone to help you hear it. And now that you can hear it, you'll never unhear it. Not because you learned a technique, not because you memorized a list, but because you understood a truth that most men, good men, kind men, men who genuinely care, go their entire lives missing. But not you. Not anymore. The greatest connections between a man and a woman never start with a perfect conversation. They start with a signal. Quiet, honest, brave. She's been sending it all along. And now, finally, you know how to listen. If something in this video hit you, if you remembered a moment you couldn't explain until today, tell me in the comments which signal changed everything for you. Share this with a man who deserves to hear it, and subscribe, because what's coming next goes even deeper than what I shared today. This conversation between us, it's just getting started.